Well, up here, yeah. So Lance is going to be my cameraman again today, so I'm just handing over the camera to him. Of course, he has to get adjusted to what he's looking at. Anyway, so hello, Amanda Taylor from Oatka Glass Studio. Today I'm going to be making little tiny fine frit. We call them Pate de Verre, but they're kind of just little frit wafers. Um, and so I'm going to be making a bunch of different ones, different colors. And we'll actually be making, this shape. So I have little stencils that I cut out, and I'll show you how I would do that. Um, Here, level. So, asking a lot of my cameraman. Anyway, welcome to the 18th day of the Tour of Arts Council virtual studio tour. And this is what we're going to be covering today. If Lance wants to come down here and kind of focus in on some of the stuff I have here. So, this is a panel that we made with all the little fine frit flowers, as you can see here.
That's a profile.
Yeah, so they're made flat, and then we actually slump them into their shape. So, yeah, so you can see it's a little bit three-dimensional. These are not tack fused on, because that would not work. They'd all end up being flat. So the background is done separately on a piece of clear glass with frit in different shades, and then the little flowers are siliconed on with silicone 1. Again, do not use silicone 2 because it will not set. But anyway, so these are little leaves, little flowers, and I have one of my little keyhole bases here, or hanging systems here, that Lance makes up for me. So that's basically what we're going to be creating, different kinds of flowers. We're going to be doing this shape of flower today. So, and then I'll be fusing them flat, and then we'll be slumping them tomorrow. I'll show you how I set all that up. And so these are some of the other components you can create. Like these little circles with color. I've actually made panels that have the colors in a row or arranged in a certain way. You can make jewelry out of these. Little holes drilled in that, or you can create the hole while you're making them. Same with these, and little dots of color. These are kind of like different color mixes together. You can see how when they're overlapped, it changes them a little bit. They darken. Yeah, there's lots of different things you can do with them. Some leaves are here, and they're very fragile, so that's one thing you have to be really careful when you're handling them. This is a piece Emma Varga made. She's actually the one that showed us this technique. She's taught for us many times in the studio. But yeah, so this is like a piece of jewelry, and it's pretty. This one's pretty strong, and it's because it's firing schedule, and also it's a little bit thicker than the other ones, so it's taken up to a higher temperature. But yeah, these are little waves, little maple leaf seed pods flying through the wind. Okay.
Morning, Sheila.
Morning, Sheila.
Best TV.
Yeah. And these pieces are like little oyster shells, and those are created with making many little stencils in different shapes, different sizes, and firing the pieces separately, and then they're set into a mold that is carved out of fiberboard and left to slump into that. So, and tack fused together. So they're solid pieces of little oyster shells. But yeah, you can get some Really interesting little things to be made with these. Another thing that we did in Emma Varga's class was when she taught, the students would make these cubes, and they're also the same kind of components. So they're little flowers, that are made and slumped, and then they're put into a form and put around it so that it keeps the shape. Yeah, so you can see that they're a little three-dimensional. They do flatten out a little bit more because of the casting process, and then it's like coal worked and fire polished. And the reason you can tell it's fire polished instead of just polished on the wheel is the little bit of rounding going on, which means that it's starting to flatten out and try to become a 1/4 inch. So it has a long ways to go to become a 1/4 inch, but still. And then this is another piece that I did, and it's little birds flying in a circle. So they're all little tiny frit wafers, like I've shown you, and you can see it's kind of hard to see. And then from the top, they're all flying around in a circle. But yeah, and then the color is only one layer thick on the bottom, but as you can see when you look at it from the top, and sometimes from the sides, a different angle, the color permeates all the way through. So anyway, so that's it. So we'll get started. So the first thing I do to make these components is start off by making stencils. So I use like a cardstock. It's pretty thin, but it's strong enough for making these stencils. As you can see, I have piles of stencils that I've made over a number of years. So yeah, they're all leaves, and I have more leaves. There's some flower pieces over here, different shapes, different sizes. I have a little heart stencil, and that actually was going to be making a bunch of different sizes of hearts, and they were actually going to be going into another cast piece like this. I haven't done that yet. Anyway, so I have my little leaf design drawn out here. You notice that some of these have little handles on them, and that's what this part is on the drawing, is the little handle. And as you can see with this little stencil, I've cut it around so the frit will stay in this form, and the little handle, so I can actually, when I'm putting them on, I put the frit in, then I lift it up, move it, so it makes it really nice and easy to pick up and put down. Another way of doing that is by putting little tabs with tape on the side. But with that one, if you put the frit in the middle, chances of it spilling out and flying everywhere are higher than with this little stencil type. So, because it has a little cage in here to keep it in. Yeah, so there we go. That's about it for that. So now I'm going to do cut out my stencil. I'm going to cut out my stencil.
There we go.
Lance. Okay, so now it's just an X-Acto blade. I love these. They're kind of ergonomic, and they have a little magnet. If I can get it out, there we go. So there's a magnet inside there, so the blade actually stays in there. If I can get it back in, there we go. And I might clean that off a little bit. And usually you want to have your sharp blade, but I'm just going to use this one right at the moment. So I'm just going to cut this out. So I just start by cutting the shape out, and I would suggest like draw it out ahead of time on the cardboard. And I have a cutting mat here. Always good to have. Don't want to slice up your nice wood surfaces or your tables. Okay. This is going to be a pretty small one. I know, another exciting process. Watch me cut out with my X-Acto blade. real exciting watching. Okay, so that's that. And now I'm going to cut out my leaf shape, if you want to call it a leaf. I'm going to have a stem. So I'm just kind of rotating it, not trying to do it all at one time, because chances of cutting yourself are quite high if you do go too fast. Oh, see? My leaf is going to be a weird shape now. Keep your fingers out of the way. Here. There we go. Okay, and out it comes. Boink, to the pile. And so now I'm just going to actually a little piece of glass. I'm going to use this as a straight edge, and I'm going to carefully, like, I'm not going to slice all the way through, I'm just going to score it if I can. And that, then it'll fold up like that. So you don't want to go all the way through. You just want a little slight score. And then I'm going to tape it. Tape it with some tape. Too big. Tape it. So taping the corners. Next one. Slight score. Fold it. I want to wreck my little leaf. There we go. This is quite close to the edge. Tape. There we go. It's taped. Now the last one. Bend it backwards and bend it forwards. And now we're going to tape that. So that'll be the last little piece of tape. That much. Okay, so I'm just going to tape the corners again. Rip and tear, rip and tear. Okay. Enough of the excitement. There we go. There's my little stencil. So, good morning, Deborah, or Debbie. Sorry. Glad you can make it this morning. Okay, so that's another little leaf one. I'm not going to be using that right away. So, and then, you know, I can make another stencil out of the leftover if I need to, but right now it's going to the side. The last one away. So, now I'm just going to put my pieces, a little stencil. So I'm going to get my Frick colors out. I'll try to get them as close as we can together. So I'm going to start with, so I have 3 separate blues and 3 separate greens here. There's a aqua blue tint, there's a light turquoise and light aquamarine, spring green, pine green, and lily pad. So we are going to start. I'm just gonna make a bunch of the blue ones. There, there. Get my little Frit scoop. Frit scoop. There we go. And now we're gonna just start putting the Frit in there. So Try not to knock it. And you barely, these are very thin pieces of glass, and we're just going to be tack fusing this. I'm actually going to get if I could see what I was doing. So, again, I can just go over it, make sure I have enough for it in the stencil. I'm actually going to get a piece of paper so I can put the excess. So I'm going to lift it up carefully, and there's my little flower, and on to the next. Actually, turn it around here. There we go. So can everybody see properly? And the cameraman gets his crapola together as usual. When I ask him to do this, he's always he rolls his eyes. Oh, sure, that's my favorite job to do.
I made a mistake by volunteering once.
You volunteered twice. This is the third time I had to ask. So once I get all these little demo videos done for the virtual studio tour, I'm actually going to set up a proper thing
And hire a cameraman.
and hire a cameraman. Yeah, Lance got me a couple of nice Christmas presents, all to do with filming. Yes. For my YouTube channel. So I'm looking forward to it. I have a microphone, which will probably help compared to just using the microphone on the camera or on the webcam. Lift it up. Dump. Next. Yeah. So when you're firing these, it's like a very low tack fuse. And lift up.
I'm getting comments. Thank you, everybody.
What, Lance is a good sport? Yes, he is.
And that's great, Lance. That must be my camera shot at home. And I'm at the end of the cable. Amanda has put this as far away as possible, of course.
Yes, he is doing a good job. As good as possible with the equipment we have. I decided to do these a spur of the moment kind of thing, but I'm enjoying doing them, so hope you guys are enjoying watching them. Okay, so again, you want to try to get as even of amount of frit throughout the whole piece, just because if you have it thicker in one area, the glass will tend to pull to that area, trying to become 1/4 inch. The glass, when you heat it up, it always tries to move towards the thicker area, so if it's lacking in its own thickness. Okay, so that's it for that one. I'm going to put that away. Plunk. And this can go into the jaw, not contaminated with any other frit color. And now I'm going to start lid on this one. Lid on it. Make sure it's on too. I'm going to grab them. People have left the lid just stuck on top lightly, and it's like, oh my God, pick it up and it's all over the floor. Not good. Cleaned up many messes. I've never done that, of course. Right. Anyway. Yeah. So now we're doing the spring green. And these are all transparent colors, by the way. You can use opal colors if you'd like, but I like the transparency, the look of the transparent frit compared to the opal on these pieces anyway. But you can use whatever you want. Depends on what you're making. I love these little pieces, just like the freeze and fuse pieces. Yeah. Yes, I love how the crystal look to them, crystallized look. They look like candy. That one's a little too much. Okay. I know. This is another exciting video. And the reason why you don't overfill them, because they will start falling. The frit will start falling in on itself, so you can actually fix that. But obviously I overfilled that one, so this one I'm not. Oh, I smeared it. Oh well, here we go. Just pick it up. Start over. Not a big deal. I'll probably put it in the center of where my flower is going to be. There we go. And start over. I'm listening to Christmas music right now, so 6 geese a laying, 5 golden rings.
Stick to glass.
4 calling birds. Yeah, I used to sing in a choir. I used to play.
So did I.
Yeah, well, yeah. You know, and these can be little Christmas ornaments too if you make them big enough. But I'm not going to be doing that today. I think I've made enough Christmas ornaments for the freeze and fuse and all my little landscape pieces that I did on one of the videos. They turned out really good. Hook. Okay. And on Saturday, it's going to be part 2 of this, but Araya is going to be here with me, hopefully. And I'm going to actually get her to make her own little flowers or whatever she feels like making. So we'll be going over this process again, but I'll be discussing how I shape them. Like I said, and this is all like a Emma Varga technique, so I did not invent it. Okay, spring green done. You can also mix colors if you wanted to, not together, which is you know, the turquoise and the spring green is always a really nice mix. Okay, now we're gonna do turquoise, light turquoise. If anybody has any questions, let me know. Okay. So this is all, so you know, this is all fine frit. the glass colors come in powder, which you worked with when I did the freeze and fuse, and then fine, medium, and a coarse. And for this, the medium and coarse would be too granular, too large for what I want to do. So I'm going to look this up. Should do that, but these will all turn out just fine. So I'm not being too anal about it. I'm not like that anyways. But you can always weigh out one of these and figure out exactly how much frit you need for each one. Eat. That's why the eat is my lift up squeal. And be careful of your sleeves and they don't drag across the pieces you've already done, which I've done before. And steady hand. Oop. Yeah. So you kind of get the picture. I'm going to keep this relatively short today because
My arm's getting tired.
Lance's arm's getting tired. He's been complaining about arm fatigue the last few videos. But I'm going to continue making the flowers. I'm going to put them in the kiln and we'll fire them, and then on Saturday we'll go over the next step, as well as Araya making her own little thing. So I hope you enjoyed this so far, and if you have any questions, you can always let me know. I'm just going to go over here and yeah, so that's great. So yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this part, and be sure to check out the Toe River Arts Council virtual studio tour artists that are on their website, and we'll see you tomorrow or on Saturday. Bye.